based on the February 2020.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Your heart beats for generations.
Your heart is so many things. It beats all the time, and it works very hard to keep you moving through your day, keeping your thoughts clear. It's the most important organ in your body.
Every beat of your heart tells a story of love, resilience, and hope. Taking care of your heart means creating more moments with the ones you cherish. Learn more at hennepin.us/heart-beats. That's hennepin.us/heart-beats.
Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NAGD. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting nagd.org.
Signing up for $1 bus and train rides with the Transit Assistance Program, or TAP, is quick and easy. Do it straight from your computer or phone by uploading one of the pre-approved documents listed at metrotransit.org/TAP, along with a copy of your ID. We'll mail you a to-go card with a full year of discounted rides. For questions or translation help, call 612-373-3333. 612-373-3333.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, cloudy with a low of 65, then Wednesday, showers and thunderstorms with a high of 70. Mavericks Real Roast Beef has the best roast beef sandwiches in the Twin Cities and so much more. Don't miss out on the crispy chicken, fish, brisket, and Philly steak, plus other options. Mavericks is located on Lexington Avenue in Roseville, a mile south of Highway 36. Visit their website at mavericksbeef.com.
Anyway, they're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Wendy, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Clinic on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis, honoring health and tradition. Yeah.
Hey, happening right now at the Minneapolis American Indian Center on Franklin Avenue, we have the Two-Spirit Powwow going on.
Yep.
And I just want to let people know that are listening, that are on the road, head over there. And I know it's indoors, so
nice and cool.
Right, nice and air conditioned.
It's the fourth annual.
Yes, it is. What else do you know about it?
Well, it's a two-spirit relatives whose strength, perseverance, and mere existence are vital to the fabric of our communities.
Yes, it is. And we really support them, and we've been to them the last few years to the powwow. And we want to also give a special shout out to Jaleesa and Jelaine, our daughters. It's their birthday today.
Happy birthday to you.
That's why we don't see Jaleesa on today. And she's getting ready for a big long boat ride, but she's at the Indian Center right now, I do believe,
Hmm.
at the Two Spirit Powwow celebrating
Yeah,
from New Native Theater.
that's right.
Speaking of which, we're going to have Jace Rowe on later today, and he's going to be joining us, Wendy, on Saturday. And we all want to talk about Saturday. We're going to be live at 1 p.m. Saturday at Twin Cities Pride. And that's always a lot of people
Mhm.
celebrating our LGBTQ
Q.
community.
Mhm.
And so we're really honored to be on that platform and
Mhm.
with all the great shows like Connections Radio, which has been on for years on native or on AM 950, the Gailey Show, which is live here on AM 950 at 2:00 5 days a week, and of course Matt McNeil will be on Sunday at noon. And we're just excited to be a part of this group and
Yeah.
celebrate this. And I just want to let people know too how you can find us. You'll find AM 950 booths 407 408 near the Yale Palace and Willow Street entrance. And here's the kicker here on this: next to the beer garden. Okay, so you guys that are progressives out there that have a few brewskis, we're right by the beer garden. And so it'll be fun. Stop by. We'd love to see you and celebrate. And
Yeah.
whether it looks a little warm, but
Yeah, it's going to be a hot day, but it'll be fun.
hydrate.
Yeah, hydrate. We'll be under a tent,
Yeah.
and hopefully there'll be electricity, and we'll have a little fan going. That might help.
Right.
And it's always a good vibe at Pride. You always feel happy. Everything is upbeat. There's so much hope there, and we meet a number of just wonderful, just fun people, and it's just really awesome.
They're going to have seats out there too, and then swag and things like that. And then we're also, Wendy, we're going to have a code for people to go to Cause Card and go directly to our Resist shirts, which we'll be wearing, our Rainbow Resist. And so you guys can purchase it
Yeah.
right through the QR code.
Yeah.
And then it'll go right there and they'll ship it to you. Probably get it in a couple days.
Yeah. That's exciting. I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Here, let me go through I was bouncing all over, which I do kind of sometimes.
Mhm.
So let me go through the batting order here again. On Saturday, 10 a.m., Redefining Recovery, a Recovery Revolution. At 11, Connections Radio. 12, Feels Out Loud. And 1 o'clock, we'll be on Native Roots Radio. And then the Gailey Show at 2. And it looks like the Gailey Show is going to be on a couple hours. And then 4 o'clock, the Illegal Trans Woman with Ellie Krug, I just got to give Ellie a big shout out. She always shares our stuff out on Blue Sky, and she's been on AM 950 almost as long as we have.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah. And then Sunday, Matt McNeil show from 12 to noon.
Mhm.
That'll go really fast because Matt can really talk.
That's all. Yeah, he's awesome. That's
He
great.
is. Yeah.
Yep.
1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, Food Freedom Radio. And 2 to 3, the Downright Upright Show with Philip Anthony. And Wendy, we met Philip before he had a radio show, and he was volunteering years ago at AM 950, and we had a long, fun talk with him. And now he's one of the stars of AM 950.
That's unbelievable. Really.
And he just had
It's all meant to be.
Yeah, and he just had our friend State Senator Mary Kunish on his show, and
Mhm.
it was great listen.
Yeah.
And then of course 4 to 5 Ghost Box Radio, with Greg Bach. And
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do. We
I
do.
love all that stuff.
And again, it's going to be booths 407, 408. And I'm letting people know here on Tuesday so they can get ready and map this out. But
Yeah.
booths 407, 408, right near the Yale Palace and Willow Street entrance,
Mhm.
next to
the beer garden.
yeah. So making sure you were listening.
I'm
Oh, wow.
listening. I'm listening.
Well, we're going to have you on later,
Mhm.
and there's other things happening in the community too, in the Native communities. So we'll talk about that later. But I'm really excited to have Jace on, and Jace is going to be live with us at, and we're going to try and get Dr. Stately out there, and we have to get him to reconfirm though,
Yeah.
because he's a busy guy with those twin kids.
Yeah.
But it'd be fun to have those two on, and definitely Jason. Jason's going to be on the show today.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
It will.
Looking forward to it.
We need this kind of fun too because
Yes.
of the poop show that's going on here.
Yeah, every day.
You know,
In the news, it's just crazy.
Right. And you don't know, you have to double check everything you see.
Yes.
And then shame on our mass media for not questioning any of this. You know, they are not doing us a favor here with Trump. First, they gave him all the free advertising in 2016 where he didn't have to pay for anything.
Yeah,
it's all about ratings.
Oh my God.
You know,
I can't.
the mainstream media, and I don't call ourselves that because we're very progressive and we're talking and speaking for our people and our four-leggeds.
Absolutely.
So what do you know what you're going to talk about later in the show?
Later in the show, well, I'm going to talk about animals. You know that. Let's see. I have a couple of little cute little stories to share.
Cool. You know what I like when you explain cartoons on the radio.
I don't know if I have any of those, but I could see if I do. Yeah, I'm always looking for, those cute little memes that come out with the animals.
So I want to do a word of the day, and why don't we do your name today, a Ho Chunk name that was given to you, and tell everybody here your name and what it means.
Sure. So my name is Hanaji Hihani, and I say that every time when I introduce myself during my segment. And I was honored, to say the least, that my Dega Curtis thought about me, and got to know me and gave me this beautiful name that means cares for them, because he realizes that I love all these animals and I take care of the wildlife and I, do all this stuff. So he really is a very thoughtful and meaningful name to me. So I'm always so grateful to say it, and I'm happy that he gave me that name.
Say it again, and we're going to take off here.
Hanaji Hihani,
which means
cares for them.
That's the Ho Chunk word for the day. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio. We'll be right back after this short break. Wendy,
stay with us.
Ho!
Your heart beats for generations. Take care of it.
There's a lot that we can do to take care of ourselves. And so I think it's important to take the smaller steps and break it down into more manageable pieces, because the little steps leads to big changes.
Every beat of your heart tells a story of love, resilience, and hope. For Indigenous women, taking care of your heart means creating more moments with the ones you cherish. Let's protect that story. Learn more at hennepin.us/heart-beats.
I'll never forget. I was driving my Sienna from Rudy Luther Toyota, and I was hit at 35 miles an hour, rear-ended square flush. If not for the structural integrity of my Sienna, I wouldn't be here right now. There's a lot I can say about Rudy Luther Toyota, about their fantastic service department and their great selection, but being able to say your car saved my life is the best endorsement I can make. Toyotas from Rudy Luther Toyota are my highest recommendation. Get one today and tell them me, Matt McNeil, told you to stop on in. Rudy Luther Toyota, 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
What does it mean to begin? Creation Story explores Native origin stories through powerful contemporary art, connecting past and present with every brushstroke in sculpture. Explore how identity, culture, and resilience are shaped through art. Creation Story, now at All My Relations Arts through July 26th. This exhibition invites you to the heart of the Ochate-Shikowin storytelling, where spiritual relatives guide the way. Open to all. Learn more at allmyrelationsarts.org. Experience the beginning. Experience Creation Story at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis. Support for Native Roots Radio comes from the Walker Art Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including Indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of Birds, Cheyenne and Arapaho Nation, and Jim Demini, Ojibwe. Additionally, films screen in the cinema, and performances are shown on stage. Free every Thursday night and free every day for members and citizens of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org. Again, that's walkerart.org.
here. I'm doing a radio.
And I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Great organization and has been around. Hey, we have been really excited for a couple weeks here, and we're excited for Saturday
Pride.
at Pride that we're going to have this person on as our guest, our whole hour guest. And I think we're going to try and get Dr. Stately to come on too, but you know, Dr. Stately has those two young boys, and so we'll see if he can do it. But hey, please introduce yourself.
Hey, greetings. My name is Jace Rowe. I go by Auntie Jace on TikTok. I am Northern Cheyenne. I am a two-spirit. I am also an alcohol and drug counselor. I work for Red Lake and NAC Clinic in our intensive outpatient clinic here in Minneapolis. I'm also have a TikTok where I'm known by Auntie Jace on there. And that's kind of what I do and who I am.
Exactly. And you know, I appreciate that you graduated with our daughter Jaleesa, and you guys have been on a great track, and representation is so big. I know she's in a normal counseling
Normal is only a dial on the dryer. That's all normal is.
Right. Good thing Wendy's here. But she's on she's a drug counselor, and she runs Native American groups. And I think that what's important is that we have representation. And I've been lucky to be sober for 40 years of drugs and alcohol. And it warms my heart when I see our people, my daughter, yourself, in the community working with our relatives. It's huge.
Yes, it's an honor. It is one of the things that brings me a lot of joy, and it is part of my recovery, definitely. I have always said that I wanted to have a Native be able to come into a treatment center and see somebody that looks like them. Because you can go to any treatment center and see people that don't look like them, and that relatability is hard to achieve. And so when a Native comes into our treatment center, they see me, and it's an honor to welcome them. And I always say, welcome home. We've been waiting for you to join the circle. And for me also, I believe that culture is the cure. I believe that getting in touch with our traditions, getting in touch with what it means to each individual to be Native, no matter their background, no matter their tribe, or if they grew up traditional or separated, like a lot of us have. I believe that if we partake in the culture, it is a huge spot where people turn around and they start to have that self-pride, that self-love. And I think that really is key. Learning to love yourself, learning to accept yourself. And I think that's what we do at our treatment center. We're also harm reduction based, which really means a lot to me.
You know, it's interesting too. I go to one of those 12-step meetings once a week, and sometimes more when needed. But my first one, I'll always remember, somebody told me that I was the most important person there at my first meeting. And I remember that to this day, and I pass that along.
That is absolutely beautiful, because I think that we always need to welcome the newcomer. Because I always say that, you know, it takes a lot of courage to walk through those doors. It takes a lot of courage to show up. And I know myself, I went through 13 treatments before I got recovery and before I understood. And for me, it was a culturally based treatment center that made the difference for me. And that self-pride, that self-love, it goes a long way, along with mentors, along with people welcoming you and saying, hey, you can do it. And I accept you. I love you. And here's how I did it. And just kind of picking up the tools as you go along, I think is beautiful. And it's quite an amazing privilege to be on this side of it now and work with our relatives and encourage them, no matter their background, no matter what they've done in their past. I care about them, the person looking in front of me. That's who I care about. And I want to see them achieve. I want to see them be parents. I want to see them get involved in the community. And that's what we do at our treatment center with NAC in Red Lake.
Yeah, it's a spiritual disease, and we're spiritual people, and we need to fill that spiritual hole. And I'm glad you found it, and the community and native-based treatments really become a thing in the last couple decades, and that's really cool. And it really helps people. I know I tell the story all the time, Jace, is that Wendy used to work at where did you used to work again? With U of M. The U of M, and she worked in the HIV clinic as a clinical pharmacist, and you were able to break down walls by just saying, hey, when she ran into relatives, she'd say, what tribe are you from? My Ho-Chunk, and that trust matter. And I think that's what you really bring to our people too, is that trust matter.
Yeah, I may not be native. I mean, I have a native name and I understand the culture and things like that, but I'm a white woman, so I would, it was hard for some people to trust me and to, when I mentioned how they should take their medications or whatever, they, looked at me like, I'm not taking this medication, whatever it may be. But breaking down that wall really helped, and people really opened up to me because at least I had an understanding and they knew that.
Right. I think the trust, you hit the nail on the head there, the trust, because we have dealt with so much as Native people. I think that we go into these places untrusting and worried and scared, fearful. And so I like to think that we really work on gaining the trust of our clients, of our relatives that we work with. And like I said, harm reduction is one of the key components, that non-judgmental approach, and meeting them where they're at, and allowing them to find their own way and find what recovery looks like to them. It can take various forms, and I respect that. And so I think we have amazing staff there. I know my supervisor, she is white, and but she has all the trust of our clients, and I trust her. She has such a huge heart, and she's been in the field a long time. Rachel, I can't say enough amazing things about her and our staff, our team there. And I feel lucky to just be one of the helpers of many, because it takes a team to show up every day and to work with our clients and work with our relatives.
This is one of the things I always ask, because we have politicians, Native politicians, Native actors, Native people that, like yourself, work in the community heavily. What do you do to protect your soul and to rejuvenate, and to what do you do?
I think that self-care for me is very important. I think self-care, trying to leave work at work, and when I'm at home, trying to just separate myself, although that's hard to do because in our community, everybody knows everybody. And so it's hard to make the separation. I think for me, my spirituality takes me a long ways. And talking with others about what might be heavy on my mind. I know in this field, unfortunately, we do lose relatives, and that can be really tough and really difficult. And I think the key for that for me has been talking about it, forming relationships outside of the treatment center, and having therapy, quite honestly, goes a long way for me.
Yeah, that's important, right, Wendy?
Oh, definitely.
No,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Life is learning. You have to always be open-minded to learning and finding better ways to be happy and to live your life, and just to move on.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into the nitty-gritty now, and let's talk about Auntie Jace and what's going to happen on Saturday. But I want to talk a little bit about or ask you about the history and how you got on Facebook and started giving these real fun messages, and even a downer message too, because I know Janet was your girl, and then she wasn't, and now she is, and things like that. So when I follow you, I really enjoy your TikTok. So
you'll have to explain that, because I have no idea what Robert just said.
Yeah.
Okay. My social media presence has been something that has been really a fun journey for me, and it started on Facebook. And I was just doing like daily quotes. I always have loved meditations. That has been a part of my journey, and I love reading morning meditations to myself. And on Facebook, I started listing morning meditations and started giving feedback. And that really started taking off. People really like that. And I gained a following there. And on Facebook, I started like a Jason Matheson fan group. And that took off. I started helping the Minnesota Two Spirit Society with their social media presence. That took off. And so I thought, this is really fun. I really like this. And then, like I said, COVID hit and everybody started switching to TikTok. And I resisted it at first. And my friend Jenny, she was always on TikTok and just laughing in her office. And I would see her crying sometimes. I'm like, what are you doing? And she said, I'm on TikTok. And I was like, oh, you're whatever. And eventually I started watching the videos with her. And I'm like, all right, fine, I'll download TikTok. And I started really enjoying the videos. And one day I started making videos about my houseplants. I love houseplants. I have a whole room full of houseplants. And that people started watching that. And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. And I started doing little segments about like, hey, this is who I am. Hi, my name is Jace. I work at the time I was working at a place called Homeward Bound. And Homeward Bound is a shelter for natives here in Minneapolis. And I was one of the counselors there. And so I started actually working on making videos and asking people if they had donations to help natives that were experiencing homelessness. And that took off. From there, I started doing daily lives and I started reading meditations. Like I said, I love meditations. From there, it's kind of gotten to where it is now, where I have grown a very large audience who are supportive and really enjoy my journey.
Hey, let's talk more. Let's talk more about this. We got to take a quick break. This is Native Roots Radio, and we're with Auntie Jace and Wendy. Oh,
stay with us.
Located just north of 50th in France, the Great Wall Restaurant has provided a delicious taste of authentic Chinese cuisine since 1981. Specializing in Szechuan and Peking dishes, they offer one of the most extensive menus in the Twin Cities. Favorites include hot and sour soup, pan-fried dumplings, and mushu pork with homemade Chinese pancakes. Stop by their Edina location or call for takeout at 952-927-4439. See the full menu at greatwallrestaurant.us.
Why must the world be so cold? They've gone against what was told. Thinking rape is cool? Think about it. They think it's not wrong. Violence against women, the rape, the abuse, the emotional, physical, they all hold the hate. Think about it. Is it right or wrong? What attracts you? I'm not saying no names, but you laugh. Talk about it like nothing is wrong. Think about it. They all hold the hate. Gotta stop the violence. Stop the hate. Think about it.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hi, I'm Scott Shamblot from Shamblot Family Dentistry. We're the fear-free, shame-free dental office. If you're having a dental emergency, we'll try and get you in the same day you call because we don't like to see anyone in pain. And we'll help you get through every appointment in the most pain-free way possible. As my daughter Rachel says,
if you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
Shamblot Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblotfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
Twin Cities Pride is back, and AM 950 is proud to be part of the celebration all weekend long. Join us on June 28th and 29th. We're in booths 407 and 408 at the Yale Place Willow Street entrance near the Beer Garden. We'll be broadcasting live both days, featuring your favorite LGBTQ plus programming like The Gaily Show, The Illegal Trans Woman with Ellie Krug, and The Downright Upright Show with Philip Anthony. Plus special broadcasts from Matt McNeil, Ghostbox Radio, Feels Out Loud, Redefining Recovery, and more. AM 950's booth is sponsored by Twin Cities Gay Men's Chorus, Teeth for Life, drinkable prebiotic dental powder for pets, Costcart, Melsa, Planned Parenthood North Central Region, and the Place Life Home Realtors. Don't forget to pick up some of our Pride swag. We've got stickers, bandanas, tote bags, and more. Grab a seat, listen live, and be part of the celebration. AM 950 is proud to support Pride and the LGBTQ plus community. Come see us at our booth and celebrate with us.
June is bursting with color, community, and joy, and Coscart is your destination for shopping with pride and purpose. Find pride-themed earrings that support queer causes, hand-poured candles that celebrate identity, and bath teas that nourish your spirit, all while with supporting the makers and mission-driven brands working to build a better world. At Coscart, every item reflects a cause, every brand gives back, and every order helps create the kind of future we want to live in. Biodegradable packaging and carbon offset shipping are standard. And during Pride Month, you get free local delivery in the Twin Cities when you enter pickup at checkout, now through June 30th. Whether you're buying a gift, treating yourself, or just browsing for joy, know that every purchase supports positive action. Celebrate Pride. Shop with purpose. Visit cause-cart.com today for free local delivery in the Twin Cities when you enter pickup at checkout until June 30th. Cause-cart.com. Shop what matters to you.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, cloudy with a low of 65, then Wednesday, showers and thunderstorms with a high of 70. If you're looking for a show that brings heart to Pride, Feels Out Loud, presented by Pride sponsor Becoming Together Therapy and Wellness, will be broadcasting live from the AM 950 booth Saturday at noon. Stop by to listen to the conversation and live and share mental health together. This is AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Oh, this is Dallas Goldtooth, and you're listening to the Native Roots Radio. Hoka, hicha, wecha.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Development Institute, or NACD, in Minneapolis.
Big partners of ours, and we really appreciate all the work they do all over Turtle Island and our Native community, and especially on the Native American corridor on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis.
That's right.
Hey, we have Auntie Jace on, and we had to jump in on a commercial and pay the bills, but you were really saying your journey, and I we had to rush you out of there. But let's start again with so you saw a friend on TikTok, you got on TikTok, and then you started promoting other organizations. Let's go there, and because I think you're live on TikTok right now.
Yes, I'm live on TikTok right now. I have a bunch of viewers watching me. You know, I like I said, I started using TikTok as a tool to help others. Basically, I was working at a shelter for unhoused natives. And we needed supplies. We needed shampoo. We needed basic supplies for them. And I asked my audience if they could donate supplies. And next thing you know, the Amazon packages just started flowing into the shelter. And it was overwhelming how many people were donating. And it was beautiful. It warmed my heart. And I thought, this is an amazing tool. This is wonderful. And I eventually left the shelter and I went to work at a treatment center. And I had clients at the treatment center that needed basic supplies too. So I kept that going. I put up items that they needed. And the viewers started sending in donations, and they were always happy to help. By then, I started doing daily lives. I got up in the morning and I read meditations. I do what I say a smoke cleanse. And we talk. And what has happened throughout the years now is I have formed a community on TikTok that come together every morning and we check in with each other. In fact, there's a whole nother group that started from my page that get together on another app and they support each other. They help each other. And now I have a link for an Amazon shopping list that's all food, because I work at a treatment center now in Minneapolis, like I said, with Red Lake and NAC. And some people deal with food insecurity. And so I want to help them get through that hump. And so I have basic food supplies on my Amazon wish list that gets sent right to the treatment center. And it helps people make ends meet, really. And so with that, and then just doing my daily lives, checking in with people, my basic messages, I want people to know that joy is resistance, especially during these times when all of us can turn on the TV, we listen to the radio, and we hear messages that I believe are meant to divide us, that are meant to cause fear and chaos. I like to remind people that you can take time out of that, turn the TV off, get outside, touch the grass, go by the water. If you have anxiety, go hug a tree, be
Mhm.
in nature, because I believe that creator is all around us. And I believe that, like I said, joy is resistance. And I don't think that there's enough messaging out there like that. And
Mhm.
so I also like to talk about, being a two spirit on there, and how two spirits, one of our jobs, at least what I've been taught, is to bring community together, bring healing together, bring balance. And I believe my job as a drug and alcohol counselor, and then getting the message and having representation on social media, getting my face out there is important. I get messages from other natives all the time, or if I'm at a powwow or if I'm in community, just thanking me for being
Mhm.
positive, thanking me and saying, hey, I start my day with you. And I think
Mhm.
that is so beautiful. I think that for me is a gift in itself. I absolutely love this journey I've been on. As far as social media is concerned, I think it's a beautiful tool to reach people, especially if they're on a reservation, especially if
Mhm.
they are out of touch and they're not in the city with a bunch of other indigenous brothers and sisters, right? Because we're lucky here in Minneapolis, where we have a large indigenous community, and it's beautiful. But I know that there's other people that are out in the suburbs don't have that opportunity. So I want them to be able to turn on to social media and say, hey, there's me, there's Jace, and other natives that are on TikTok. I think that's a gift, and I think it's beautiful. So I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Wow, that is beautiful. And I love the history. And one of the things I'd like to bring back up is what Wendy was wondering about too. And that's with Janet. And I know you have a picture with Janet Jackson.
Oh, Janet Jackson. I didn't know who you were talking
Okay.
about. Oh, wow.
There we go. There's me and Janet.
That's awesome.
Right on.
Wow.
Yeah, I got to meet her at Treasure Island. I had the
Okay.
opportunity. There's a show here in Minneapolis called the Jason Matheson Show. And I started a fan club for Jason Matheson on TikTok, or not TikTok, on Facebook. And me and him we're friends. And so one day he came to my house and asked me to do a commercial spot for him. And I did. And I was reading these cards like, tune into Jason Matheson, And
Mhm.
on the last card that I read, it said, Flip Phone and Jason Matheson are sending me to Treasure Island to meet my idol, Janet Jackson. So
Oh.
they got me a meet and greet with her, and they put me up in the hotel, and I got the VIP treatment. And it was probably one of the best moments of my life. In treatment, they tell
Wow.
us to make a bucket list. And one of the top things on my bucket list was to meet Janet Jackson. And I never thought that was
Wow.
possible. And I got to meet her. And so
Wow.
that was a beautiful gift.
That's amazing.
You know,
Really.
I got to meet Obama, and I was a little mad at him because I wanted him to get, he didn't he kind of messed up Standing Rock and things like that, and also I wanted him to free Leonard Peltier. And my story is this: I had this whole speech down. Tell your friend Joe Biden to do this and that. And then I met him. He put his hand out to shake my hand, and he said in his voice, "Howard, nice to meet you." And I wanted to hug and kiss him. And I forgot all that. I forgot all that stuff I wanted to tell him. And 13, I got a picture with him, and then 13 seconds later, I was out the door.
You
Go, wow,
forgot you
what
forgot you
happened?"
were mad at him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed. Do you see how stiff looking I am here? Do you see how frozen I am?
Oh,
I could not talk to her. I didn't want to touch her. I didn't want to hurt her. And she is leaning into me. She actually grabbed me and leaned into me. And I was like, Janet Jackson's hugging me. I could not even move. It was it is one of the best moments of my life. I will never forget that.
I know, that's great. Rhythm Nation.
Yep.
I don't know if there's anybody like that I've ever met.
Well, it's funny. Rhythm Nation, what the two dudes from Minneapolis produced that album.
Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
And then they were in Prince's first band back in the day, and
yep.
And geez, I used to go to Glam Slam and do some playback video work, and so I'd get up on, remember the second floor?
Yep.
Well, I was up there all the time with the celebs, and Prince would come in, and you didn't even know. All of a sudden, he was in his table. because he was, 5 foot and
What
he had
year
all
was
these.
what year was this?
I
We're
want to say
talking a long.
92.
Oh, 92. Okay.
Somewhere around there, right,
Okay.
Jace? Was
Yeah,
it around
I
92?
remember that. In fact, I remember going to Glam Slam when I was young. They had like 18 plus nights, and I remember just feeling so amazing that I was in Prince's club. And unfortunately, I never got to see him live. I know towards the end he was opening up Paisley Park, and
Yes.
I was just about to go one weekend, and then right before then he actually passed away. But I have been to Paisley Park. I got the tour, and it's a really powerful tour. It's amazing. And I actually ended up crying because they do keep his ashes actually in the lobby. And it's a very powerful moment there. Yeah. So if you get a chance, go to Paisley Park.
Yeah, everybody from across the world goes there, and it's a place to go next to the Mall of America now. Oh, wow. But yeah, it was an amazing thing, and it was during Batman when he did the Batman music, and then who was he going out with? Alex Baldwin's ex-wife back then, and
Oh yeah, I forgot her name. I definitely forgot her name.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so they were crazy times. And yeah, so I feel like a lot of people feel that way about you when they meet you, and you're on TikTok and you're famous. And I just really enjoy the positivity. Like you're talking about joy as a part of our resistance, and I truly believe that.
And how many people are you helping? Like they're waking up in the morning, looking at you and getting, having a positive message to go out in the world for that day, and just
In between dance moves, I
And
see
to
some
be
dance moves with
really-
the dance moves with the robe on,
Really?
the sacred robe.
Oh, okay.
The iconic red robe. People seem to love that red robe. It's awesome. And I love just getting up in the morning. And I remind people, one of the first things that we should think about when we open up our eyes is just giving thanks. Giving thanks to be just alive another day. And I tell people, if you're able to open up your eyes today, you have a purpose, because Creator doesn't make any mistakes. We all have a purpose, no matter what we've done in our past. If we've had a difficult past, those are lessons that we can learn from, so we don't repeat the same mistakes. And we can also share our journey with our youth. We can share our journey with people that we're helping, like a drug and alcohol counselor. I share my journey with them, so hopefully they can learn and they have that relatability and know that, okay, well, you've gotten this far. And I always tell people, I want you to go farther than me. I want you to chase your dreams, whatever it may be. It's possible, especially in recovery. It makes it all possible, So I think a positive mindset goes a long way.
Well, I know me personally, when it comes to sobering up when I was 23 years old, and if I would have predicted 40 years later how I wanted my life to be, I would have underkicked it. It's so much better than I could have ever dreamt.
Absolutely. I never thought I'd be a drug and alcohol counselor. I never thought I would, have a partner, have a home where I feel safe, have friends and family that support and love me, that trust even, it's when you live a life so long on survival and you finally are getting trust from others. Say I've been watching somebody's house. When they leave, I'm like, do they know who I am?
Absolutely. Well, hey, give your Auntie Jace, give your handle, and we are really excited. This is just a preview of you being at Pride with us, Twin City Pride, on Saturday at 1:00.
Yep. So on TikTok, I am the Auntie Jace, and on other social medias, it is Jace Rowe. I have an Instagram as well that is pretty popular, but TikTok is my main format. So I love people to follow me and join me in the mornings and start their day off in a good way.
Right on. Thank you so much for being on, and I can't wait for Saturday, right?
Awesome. Yeah.
Hey, Native Roots Radio, we'll be right back after this short break.
Stay with us.
Oh.
Your heart beats for generations.
Your heart is so many things. It beats all the time, and it works very hard to keep you moving through your day, keeping your thoughts clear. It's the most important organ in your body.
Every beat of your heart tells a story of love, resilience, and hope. Taking care of your heart means creating more moments with the ones you cherish. Learn more at hennepin.us/heart-beats. That's hennepin.us/heart-beats.
Signing up for $1 bus and train rides with the Transit Assistance Program, or TAP, is quick and easy. Do it straight from your computer or phone by uploading one of the pre-approved documents listed at metrotransit.org/TAP, along with a copy of your ID. We'll mail you a to-go card with a full year of discounted rides. For questions or translation help, call 612-373-3333. 612-373-3333.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Do you have a personal financial goal like buying a car, starting a business, saving for college, or investing for retirement? Whatever your goal is, you need a plan. It might seem overwhelming, but like physical fitness, you can gradually improve your financial health step by step. Start by creating a spending plan, improving your credit score, opening a bank account, or finding a trusted advisor. Not sure where to start? Visit mn.gov/commerce/money for more.
Hi, I'm Tiergan. And I'm Hadley. We're two of the very first listeners, and we're still listening to Native Roots Radio.
We love those guys. Hey, welcome back to Native Roots Radio, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot.
In this portion of the show, we'd like to bring awareness to our Minnesota wolf population. Say no to the hunts.
Good one. Hey, welcome back, Wendy. I want to reintroduce you to my awesome, beautiful wife. Wendy has been an animal advocate for many years, and she's a co-founder of Native Roots Radio in our 9th season. And you've been talking about our sacred animals for that long, and I've learned so much. And you happen to be the word of the day.
Yes. Hey, everybody. My name is Hanaji, which means cares for them. And I was given that name by my Dega Curtis. Curtis goes by Mashke Hanajinga, which means walks on white clouds.
2 words.
Yeah. I'm a policy volunteer for Humane World for Animals, formerly known as the Humane Society of the United States. And I work on animal issues at the local and state level. It's always my pleasure to do that. And today I just have a, plethora of things to talk about.
A plethora?
I like that word. Yeah. So I was just talking to my relative this morning out in New York, and they're having a heat wave out there now. So generally our weather just kind of goes there in the next couple of days. So, just to remind everybody who's listening out there in the East Coast to put out some pans of water for your wildlife critters in your backyard. I have some really, really cute pictures. We had a heat wave here just a few days ago, and the heat index was over 100 degrees, but we saw those crows. Do you remember that? So what I have is like multiple bird baths in the backyard that are filled with water. And then I had just our hose on just like mist, and I had that going, and I'm telling you, about 6 crows came by, and they were giving them, they were like in the grass, like just like feathering off in the water, and one crow had its beak open, like its mouth open, so it must have been really thirsty. But anyway, it really, just watching them out there in the water, getting cooled off, cleaning off their feathers, and just enjoying that cool water just really gave me a good feeling in my heart. So I'm happy to do that. And I know our water bill is going to be high, and it always is, because, we give up. I was like, I asked Robert, and I don't even know why I do this. So this is like too much information for everyone out there, but this is like what I do. I'll be like, it's in the afternoon, it's like 98 degrees. And I'm like, I'm going to go. I always ask Robert, should I turn the water out? put the, sprinkler on out front? And Rob would be like, no, not now. And I'd be like, I don't even know why I asked you because I'm going to do it anyway.
Right. I just say, no, it's going to evaporate in the air. It's so
but
hot.
I didn't do it for our plants. I did it for the birds and the animals out there. But
Right.
anyway.
Well, and you proved your point because we had, about 4 crows show up, just get a water bath.
Yeah, and like we had so many, the animals came to our front yard too, just to get cooled off. So I'm happy I did it. So I don't know why I even asked you, but
I don't either.
I don't know. I think
That's why
I
I
don't
say
know what
no.
it is. I don't know. Some psychological problem I have.
It's
Anyway, I'll have
awesome.
to ask the therapist.
Yeah.
Anyway, female octopuses have been
Octopi?
No, they're octopuses.
Okay.
Have been observed throwing objects such as shells and silt at males that persistently try to mate with them and refuse to leave. So you go, girl. You tell them, you go, girl. There's a Alaskan wood frog. I just read about this. I've never heard about this animal. It's a Alaskan wood frog. So what happens in the winter, like most frogs during the winter, they'll burrow under the ground and, hibernate for the winter.
Mhm.
This frog literally lets its body freeze. So it gets, it freezes solid in the winter. Their heart stops breathing. They stop breathing. Their brain is silent. And then in the springtime, literally, they just thaw out alive in the springtime, and they just start hopping around, just like nothing ever happened. I've never ever have heard of anything like that, but that's just amazing, right? There's so many animals in this world that we have no idea about.
Right.
And there's a lot of animals out there who have been deemed extinct, and then they suddenly find them again somewhere, So I'm going to look into that because I want to find that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk to you guys also today about dangerous foods for your dogs.
Oh.
Yeah, because sometimes I'm eating something and Wanda wants it, and I'm always like, oh, I don't know if she should have this. I don't know if it's good for her. I don't know, because dogs do not metabolize food or medications the same way we do. That's why you should never ever give your dogs any like medications before checking with your vet, because like ibuprofen, for instance, like could cause severe damage and the dog can die. So you never want to do that. But anyway, here's some foods that you should never let your dog eat. Grapes.
Wow.
Yeah, grapes can cause kidney failure.
Really?
Yeah, so you don't want them to have grapes.
I remember our chihuahuas, my mom's chihuahua would eat grapes.
Well, it was back in the day before we knew all this and all the dogs died. Onions or garlic.
Wow,
Yeah.
onions?
Onions and garlic, yeah, it could cause anemia. Because it was one day I was eating hummus, and I asked Chat GTP.
I knew you were going to say
I
that.
asked Chat GTP, can I give my dog hummus? And it said, well, if it contains onions or garlic, do not give it to
Oh.
him. Yeah, so like chickpeas, they could eat if it's just plain. Yeah, so sugar-free foods like that have like aspartame and like artificial sweeteners,
Mhm.
yeah, could cause seizures in your dog.
Crazy.
Unbaked bread. This can cause blockages in their intestinal tract. So if they had like, I guess, dough, if they ate dough, I don't know. Yeah, fatty foods like avocado and bacon are not good. They can cause pancreatitis.
Ooh.
Yeah, I didn't know about the avocado. That's good to know. Of course, we knew coffee and chocolate. That can cause seizures. We don't want to do that. Yeah, too much salt can also cause seizures.
Well, I feel bad. I gave her some of my chocolate malt.
Oh, you did? Yeah, you only gave her like a little.
Right.
She didn't eat like a whole bunch. She just had a
No,
taste.
a little
Yeah,
bit.
a little taste is fine.
Okay.
Dairy. Dairy is no good for your dog.
We don't have dairy in the house.
Well, we don't, because I'm vegan and I keep a vegan house, so we don't
That's
have any dairy. But that
You
can
keep
cause digestive issues.
This is the vegan button.
Oh, okay. That's the vegan button. Yeah.
Okay.
We were trying to figure out how long I've been vegan. I don't know. I know it's it's so funny. I use Facebook as like my caliber of how much time has passed. So I'll be like, oh, that's a memory that came up on my Facebook page. It was 13 years ago. And oh yeah, we were here. And I remember I was vegan then, so, but I don't know how long, but it's been at least like 13 years, I think.
I think it's been about 16 now that I think of it.
Really? Maybe. Could be. I'm not really sure. Anyway, it's been a long time. Macadamia nuts. Temporarily inability to walk. I wonder what it is about a macadamian nut, So Robert thinks I'm crazy, right? Because I have all these little critters out in the backyard. And what I did was I read on the internet, and it made so much sense to me that, if like in the very beginning of spring, when there weren't a lot of flowers and things for the bees and pollinators to go to, I sliced tangerines in half and I put them in a pan so that like all the bees could get nutrition. First of all, they could get sugar for their bodies and hydration, and they need it for their energy. So I put half tangerines out.
Yes, you still have an excellent job. Hey, we'll be on tomorrow, hopefully.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio. We're still here. We are the 7th generation, and thank goodness Leonard Peltier's freed.
Yes.
We'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah.